And hello. How's everyone doing today? Oh, apparently I had something in my throat. It is nice to see everybody who is here so far. I see Nate and Joe and BG and Skepsis and Prixenland, who said this is the first time that they're going to get one live, which... Rocket, they didn't need to hear from you. Prixenland said it was the first time... Prixenlad said this is the first time they got to catch one live, so I'm glad to have you here as well. So, today, which I need to make just a new map. Just a regular old map. Doesn't really matter what's on it. So what I want to do is, I don't know if you've ever played the original Final Fantasy VII, there was a mini game in it where... yeah. Oh yeah, you do tutoring in the evenings, I remember that. So let's see. So anyway, here's the basic idea. I'm going to go ahead and like... So what it is, I'm just going to make a random group of... where's a normal, like, working class person? Clearly we need more of those. He looks like a normal guy. Alright. So the idea of the minigame and how it works is that you would place down 3 people. You would tell 3 people where to go, and then they would set off an explosion, and then they would face towards the thing that was buried. So you would try to triangulate where the thing could be based on how the people are facing. Now, in MZ, by default, you only have 4 directions. You could use you could use 8 directions by using a second sprite. But I'm gonna just do it with 4 directions, and here's how it's going to work. So let's say after you... Let's go back to this. I'm gonna use region ideas to kind of draw in to show you what would be like. Okay, so the basic idea... Oh, not Phil. I need the regular... The basic idea is, so if it was this person, and the place you were supposed to dig was in any of these areas, they would face downwards. And then if it was any of these areas, they would face to the right. And you're getting the idea, right? So what I was going to do to kind of fix the fact that you can't make these completely even if you do anything on the diagonal is I'm going to have, like, if it's perfectly diagonal, I'm going to have the thing, instead of facing in a direction, I'm going to go ahead and draw out the rest of these too. And then 4, which would be the person was in any of these locations. And then I was going to have a 5th one. I'm going to use a color that's a little bit... If it's on any of the diagonals, I'm just going to have them get confused and fall down. Because that's like still gives you a ton of information, because it means it's either on that axis or that axis. It actually probably gives you more information than knowing this, right? So then what you would do, let's say this person was facing down. So let me get rid of all these. So he's facing down. We now know that it has to be in this section, right? Well, let's say this person right here is facing to the left. So then, like, I'm making the same thing, but see, it can't be in any of these spots. So let's just draw... I'm going to draw this, and then I'm going to draw, like, a 3 to show the overlapping. So now we know that it has to be in something that overlaps. So the overlap would be... Oh, I keep on forgetting that the overlap would be right here. And so then, what if this last person fell down, for instance? You would know the last one, that it would have to be in one of those locations, right? It would have to be in this because it's the only ones that everyone is doing. Because you can't do like the direct facing like you could in, because Final Fantasy VII was a 3D game, granted a very, very simplistic 3D game. Supposed to be, then you can't do like the direct facing, which is a problem, right? So it does have the issue of, I think you'd need more. You're gonna need more information, or you're needing to learn how to position these people to get the best information you possibly can. I think actually you need to probably set them closer together or something. I don't know. I'll see how it works. But what I was going to do actually is just when you dig, as long as you're within like one spot of it. So if it was like, say, here and you dug at any of these locations, I would say you got it to give it a better chance of winning. But I think it's still going to be a gamble, but, you know, we'll see how it works. So that's just explaining how it works. Now I have to actually make that. Alright, let's delete some of these guys. Alright, now I need a third-party position. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is there are 2 stages. Could do this with a common event. Probably actually the easier way to do it. But I'm going to use... I just, generally, if it's going to be in just one map, I prefer to do a parallel processing event on the map itself. So let's do a parallel processing event. So the first thing we need to have is when you're placing people, right? And I think, let's do 3 and see how hard it is to hit, right? So what we're going to be doing, let's do a wait, not a full second. There's no reason to check this every single time, or every single frame, because you're just checking for a, or actually this needs to be a loop. Loop, loop, go loop, loop. This needs to be inside it. You don't want to have it do it every frame, because if you have it do it every single frame, it's just unnecessary. Someone's not going to be able to press and release a button in 1/60th of a second. You're not going to miss it. The next thing we're going to be doing is conditional branch, and we're looking for if button OK is being pressed. All right. I'm going to do another conditional branch, or not a conditional branch, show choices. Oh yeah, you have to do show text first. I'm going to call them surveyors. Also, I need a question mark, not an exclamation mark point. And then show choices, yes, no. And there's also the other thing, and also a thing you should probably do, because if you jump right back into the loop, hitting no could like trigger, like hitting down and then hitting OK on no could actually trigger the button being pressed again. So I wanted to put a wait there. Okay, so what we need to do, first I'm going to do get location info. That's what I need. Get location info. Name a couple of these. Let's see. What other things we're going to be? We're going to need something to store the things. We're going to need... Actually... Surveyor 1x. Surveyor 1y. And then we need, what's the word? What am I thinking? What am I thinking? This is the one, like, normally I try to half do these before I start to try to make sure everything works, and this time I'm like, I'm fine. I'm just gonna go ahead and do whatever, right? Actually, I think I need, for organization's purposes, I need to put those one down. Because we need a variable for surveyors. Surveyors, placed. And then we need two, three. All right. That's all we're going to need. We're going to need to, first thing we're going to do is set the surveyor Y, or surveyor 1x to where the player is. So designate by player, and it is, what am I doing? I'm doing something wrong. I thought that was a way to, is it not give location info? It's something else. It's directly in control variables, isn't it? Why am I just absolutely not here today? Okay. Map X of player. We're gonna store that there. I don't know why I wanted to do it with get location info. Player 1. I also am going to do this, and then I'm going to have to add another conditional branch in, I just realized. Okay, set to game data, character, map Y. It's okay, Nate. I know. I also am just like, oh, me. Sometimes I have moments where my brain just does not work at all. All right. So the next thing I need to do, this is going to be an interesting one because, like, okay, so I'm going to have it set right where you're standing, right? So you need to step back so that it can be placed there. So the thing that I need to do is check to make sure I'm not on the bottom row of the map. So bottom row of the map is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11. That's like, is it, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13. But if I remember correctly, I need to check the Y, right? And make sure it is not, or if it is 13. I think actually it's 12 because you start at 0, right? Yeah. All right, let me make sure I'm right. So easiest way to do that is to go to this, and yeah, I can look. So this is, yeah, this is on Y is 12 for that. So we wanted to make sure that when it's 12, we step up instead of down. So if it's 12, we're going to set movement route, player, move up. And then I'm going to have them turn down. Did I somehow? All right, move up and turn down. If they are not on that one, we can just have them set movement route player, move down, and then turn up. There is going to be one very weird thing that I will need to figure out how to deal with, but I will deal with it later. And that is if you try to place two of them right next to each other, and your character tries to walk backwards into where you've already placed one. I know how I could fix that, but I don't know if I want to do it during the stream because that's like a lot more like things, and I have so much to do in this one. This one's going to be kind of complicated, I think. So, has anyone figured out something that I haven't done? I really needed a conditional branch to check which one of these I was on. But first, I'm going to do the other thing I need to do, which is make 3 blank events. And then I'm going to name them. So this is surveyor 1. These are just entirely cosmetic events. But I need them because what I need to do is now that he's moved out of the way, I need to set event location, surveyor 1, designated with variables, there, and then I need to have him why am I forgetting where everything is today? Wow. I'm glad y'all are here to experience my entire fuzzy brain. So I think it's in set movement route. Yeah, it is a touch fuzzy. You're correct. My wife was informing me that my brain was a touch fuzzy. I'm not a fan of that joke. Alright, now we're going to turn it into the... not sci-fi people. I mean, I could use sci-fi people. You know what? Let's use the little robots. They're cute. And we'll give each of them a different color, as we can. So, one will be red. Alright. Okay, so the problem is that this will only do it for the first one. We need to, like, then after this is over, control variables. We need to set the survey is placed, add 1. All right, so all of this, though, needs to be in a conditional branch. Because this one only happens if the surveyor placed is equal to... We need to do it in reverse order, too. So what we need is several conditional branches. So technically I could nest them, but I prefer not nesting them. It's a kind of pain. Okay, so if it's equal to 0, but the first one we want is 3. Now let's copy, paste. That was not the right place. I just don't want to nest them because I hate nesting a bunch of stuff if I don't have to. And the reason we do this in reverse order, 3, 2, 1, is because at the end of each one of these, we're going to be raising the value by 1. So if you did it in the order of 1, 2, 3, after you did the first one, you would move on to the second one, and now it would be... Actually, it's not 3, 2, 1. It's 2... It should be 2, 1, 0. Because once all 3 are done. Because like I said, if you do all 3 of them in that order, you would be like, okay, it goes to the 0 one, it adds 1, and then it would immediately do this one. Because now it equals 1. But if you do them in a reverse order, you don't have to worry about that. Alright, now, X. Alright. And then we just need to do this, and then we need to change the numbers here. So, the first thing we need to do is this is going to be surveyor 3, X. The wrong button. Surveyor 3, Y. Then This needs to be if it's surveyor 3Y. And let's see. Then this needs to be surveyor 3 at 3x and 3y. And this is that surveyor 3 needs to switch to a different one. Edit. Let's do green. I'm going to do red, blue, green. So let's do green for 3. And then we do the same thing for this, except for this is going to be 2. 2x. Surveyor 2y. This one may be over an hour because this is going to be... I realize that we're 20-something minutes in, and I am just getting the routine done of just placing the surveyors, not doing the math of figuring out where things are. You'll also notice that I did not set where you were supposed to dig until after the surveyors are in place. There's a reason for that. I will get to it when I get around to that point. But I just wanted to point out that that's not a mistake. I intentionally decided that you should do it after. All right, so surveyor 2. Let me make sure I did these right. XY, XY. Surveyor 2. And change it to edit. You're going to be blue. All right. Okay, so then after all of this, what we need is right here at the end, we need a new one, and this is going to be a conditional branch, and it's going to be if the variable surveyor is placed equals 3, so after we've placed 3, and this is going to break loop. And for the moment, so that it doesn't start over again, what I'm going to do is just go control self switches A on and do a new page with self switch A on. This is only for me to be able to test that this part works, right? Because the first thing we need to do is test that I can place all of the surveyors down. Let's do some play testing. Pretty sure. I technically don't need an entourage while I'm doing this, so place one there. There. Okay, why can I not place one? Huh. Alright, so I can place them all, and that's good. Technically they should be good block movement, probably, but that's... I guess what I could do... Okay, so what I'm going to do... I can't remember the order I put these in. So... let's see, people... It's like sci-fi, people 3, and the first one was the red, right? And so what I can do is have this be when variable survey placed is 1 or greater. And then same as characters. That keeps it from... And then this one was... I mean, it doesn't matter what color they were, really, but when I'm getting all 3 of them. Same as characters, variable, 2 or greater. And then I need to... Hey, Mr. Doba, how you doing, man? I didn't... Alright, so let's copy event page. Paste event. Let's get rid of this one, because I didn't mean to do that. Technically... Technically, I don't guess I need a blank page. I just really like having a blank. I do not know why. Like, technically, I could have done this without a blank page. All right, now edit, and this one needs new event page. This one's going to be... I am doing pretty good. A little brain addled today, not doing my best. I'm not going to say my brain is a touch fuzzy just because you think it's a funny joke. Okay. Now let me make sure I did that right. So, page 2, surveyors 1, red. Page 2, surveyors placed green. Page 3, surveyors placed 3, and blue. And then I need to edit this because I no longer need the one that changes this. On all of them. I don't have to change the image. Alright. So, now I have the surveyors placed. The next thing I need to do is place the actual thing I'm digging. And the reason I waited until instead of figuring out where you were supposed to dig and then placing the surveyors is because, okay, these surveyors are supposed to point towards the thing, right? But what happens if you place a surveyor directly on top of it? So instead of figuring that out, I decided I'll just have it decide where it goes after the surveyors are down, and then I can just tell it if it's on top of a surveyor to do it again. Just give me another random location. Okay. Now I can get rid of this self switch because we don't need the self switch anymore. Because we're just going to keep going. So the next thing we're going to do after we broke loop is we're going to define where it is. So the first thing we need to do is we're going to get dig location. And dig location X. Dig location Y. Okay. I think I'm going to need a player X and player Y, so we're going to go ahead and put that down. I like going ahead and recording all of my stuff ahead of time in case I forget. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is do the random location for this. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 17, isn't it? Yeah, it is 17. What I'm going to do, because remember how I said it's going to be 1 away, right? If you're within 1. So I don't want to like lower the amount of places people can dig if it's on an edge. So I'm going to have it be at least 1 in. So it has to be between 1 and this is 15. All right, so set to a random between 1 and 15. Then we're going to copy that, paste, edit. This is going to be location Y. And it's going to have to be between 1 and 11. All right, so the next thing we need to do, I'm going to need something else too. So I'm going to put a label in, and I'm going to call it redo. Then we need a conditional branch, and it is variable. If dig location X is equal to dig locate or surveyor location 1X. Then I'm going to have it go check if conditional branch again. Check if the dig location Y is equal to 1Y. All right, and if it's equal to it, if it's in the same location as surveyor 1, we will jump to label, redo. And then it will just redetermine a random location. And then I copy this and create it again. And again. And then we change this to 2 and 2. And this to 3. And okay. Now we're getting into another loop, and this is going to be the when you decide where to dig. Here's a fun thing about this is that oh, sorry, give me half a second to I had a thought in my head and then it was gone. Man, what is up with me today? I know we've all probably had these days, especially if you've been, like, for instance, if you've been working on your IGMC game, which leads me to another thing we can talk about really quickly while I try to remember what in the world I was doing. If you were working on your IGMC game, and you've done a lot of work on it, and there's those times when you just need to take a break because your brain don't work anymore. You have to keep working through it because you've got a deadline and stuff. But there is something cool going on. Unfortunately, I have to go find it again because I forgot to copy paste it. So, first of all, the Humble Bundle for the IGMC RPG Maker Resurgence Humble Bundle has been extended. So you have 2 more weeks to get it. Also, we are doing a giveaway. If you retweet this tweet, you may be one of 5 people chosen to just pick one of the Kokoro Reflections packs to just have for your own. The Kokoro Reflection stuff is really nice. I really, really like their stuff. So this is our mid-ad break, I guess, since I am 30 minutes in. So go retweet that, get your chance to win. Make sure to check out the RPG Resurgence bundle as well when you have. And if you haven't picked it up, I hope you can. And it's benefiting Able Gamers, who is about making sure games are as accessible as they can be without, like, sacrificing what the game is attempting to do, right? It's like, if I can change one thing, if I can add colorblind options to my game, or if I have 3, like, if I use colors to indicate something, and I'm sitting here and I have 2 colors that are red and green, if I just put icons on there that are different, so that someone who's red-green colorblind can tell the difference. Like, if you have a red potion and a green potion, if you change the shape of one of the potion bottles, now it's a more accessible game. More people can play it and understand what is going on the screen. So that's the kind of stuff that they work with the community and also with game developers on helping learn more about how to make games more accessible to end users, and I think it's really important. So the bundle helps them, and also you can go just look up Able Gamers. I hope you do. I hope you also think more about how you can do that in your game, how you can make your game more accessible to more people. All right, back to actually making this event. Now that I've refreshed my brain by giving you an extended ad. Okay, so we're going back into a loop. The loop is for determining where you put down. Well, first, actually, no, before the loop, I have to do the part, so delete that. I have to do the part where they now turn towards the things. This is going to be some math, right? And I know 100%, and this is what I was going to say. Got it, finally, after all that figured out. I know there are easier ways to do this. Specifically because I am going to be finding absolute values. And what an absolute value is, and I'm sure BG could tell very quickly what an absolute value is The absolute value is basically just the distance from 0. So the absolute value of 5 is 5. The absolute value of -5 is also 5 because it's 5 away from 0. So the reason you need absolute values is I need to figure out which is further, right? The X or Y location. So the first thing I need to do is go X, or I need to figure out from the dig location. So I'm gonna need some math variables. These variables are just existing to create math. So this is math variable. And again, all of this could be done much easier probably by doing a script call and doing all the math at once, but I'm going to do it 100% events because I'm a masochist, so. And also because I sometimes can't remember how to do math in JavaScript, which is very sad. My JavaScript is pathetic. So the math variable X, what we're going to first do is set it to the dig location X. So this will tell you, or actually, wait, should I set it to first? Should I set it to the, let's do it surveyor X. All right. Then after we do that, in control variables, we're going to subtract dig location X. Or not, math variable, we're going to subtract dig location X. And I'm going to very quickly, so it's going to be math variable, you set it to the survey location, and then subtract the dig location. So if there's a survey, like say there's a survey here, and the dig location is here. That means that it's going to be 1, 2, 3. You're going to subtract this. I think it's the other way around. I need to set it to the dig location X. And then subtract the survey location 1X. Luckily, once I get the first one done, all the other ones will be easy. All right. So this is going to determine the this will determine the distance from the dig location, the surveyor to the dig location, right? So in X. And we need to do the same thing for Y. So let's copy these so I know. I wish I could somehow get my brain to like, I need to like, I may have to do a bunch of this stuff, or math variable Y, and I need to also have AV, absolute value X, and absolute value Y. So the way this is going to work is it's going to figure out first where it is. So like it's -3 plus 2 away. -3 on the X plus 2 on the Y. That means it's 3 to the left, 2 down from where the surveyor is. And what I'm going to do is then you get the absolute values. And with the absolute values, you look for which one is bigger. And you're going to use the one that is bigger to determine facing, right? Because you need to face the one that is more that direction. Then, and if it's 0, if it's equal, you're doing the diagonals, and I'll use the fall down, which I don't know if I hope the surveyors, the little robots, have downs. Anyway, I'm hoping that all made sense. Maybe when I get it all down, it will make sense. I'm pretty sure I know what I'm doing. It's just, the math variable Y, and then it's dig location Y. And then we're going to subtract, so math variable Y This is surveyor 1y. Okay. We need to be measuring from the surveyor location. And I'm trying to make sure that I'm correct in the order. So I'm going to pull this off the screen so I can stare at my screen and try to figure out what I'm talking about. Okay, so if the surveyor's here, and the dig location is here, and I'm looking at my, that's the y variable. Subtracting this from that, or subtracting that from that, will be -3. So that means 1, 2, 3 up. And that's correct. It should be -3. So that is the correct order of doing this. The next thing I need to do is we need to set our AV variables. So both of the AV variables need to be set to the regular variables. Control variables, AVY. We're going to set it to mathY. All right, now it's going to be 2 conditional branches, because the way we're going to determine the absolute values is really simple, and it is conditional branch, and it is if AVX is less than 0, which means it's a negative. Frickson, it is complicated, and I'm hoping that once I get it all done, I can explain it when it's like all in front of me rather than trying to explain it while I'm doing it. So this is going to be if it's less than 0, which means if it's a negative number, then we need to, if it's a negative number, we need to multiply it by -1. So control variables, multiply by -1 AVX. That will give you the absolute value. It will, if it's not less than 0, it's already the absolute value. If it is less than 0, by multiplying it by -1, you will get the absolute value. So I can just copy this and then switch this to AVY and edit AVY. All right. So now we need to determine whether we need to use left and whether the surveyor is going to be turned left or right, or whether the surveyor is going to be turned up or down, or whether it's on the 100 exact diagonal axis, in which case it will fall down. So the first thing we do is the first thing we need to do is figure out which of the absolute values is higher. So conditional branch. If variable AVX is greater than variable AVY, and then in the else, it's going to be paste and edit, and it's going to be if it is less than. And then in the else, this means it's 0, and this will be really easy. If it is 0, we're going to go set movement route, surveyor 1, change image, and did SF people 3 have a down? I don't think it does. What can I use instead of our SF damage 2? Oh, they do. Okay, surveyor 1 was red. It was this red one. And that, okay, so you can't select a specific one. Is that turned, let's say it's down, left, right, up? Is that correct? So I need to turn him. So it needs to turn left. Correct? Turn left. All right. And otherwise, it needs to turn right or... Okay. So if X is larger, that means it's either left or right. So, to determine whether it is left or right, let's do one more conditional branch inside this, and that is our variable, math variable X, less than 0. If it is less than 0, you need to turn left. If it is more than 0, you need to turn right. So, let's grab this. We need an else branch on this. And so if it is less than 0, we turn left. And if it is not less than 0, we turn right. Okay. Now, let me brain through this one already again, because I'm already having huge doubts about what I'm doing. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, so the dig location, you subtract surveyor X from it. So if it's a positive number, it will be right. If it's a negative number, it would turn left. That's correct. So that means if it's a negative number, so less than 0. All right. So that is everything to get it to turn all in the right directions. So let's go through this from beginning to end. This is complicated, and I'm going to have to do it 2 more times by copy pasting. But it's no big deal. And it's not as bad as you think about when you actually go through it. Because all of this is just like a few little math things. So the first thing we're doing is dropping the dig location into this math variable, which just means a variable I'm using to do random math. Then you subtract the surveyor's X, which gives you the distance from to the left or right that it is on the grid. And a negative would mean that the surveyor is to the right of it because it's a bigger number. And a positive number would mean it's to the left of it because it's a positive number. Then you do the same thing for the y, which will go up and down. And actually, I'm not done. I realized I didn't do the up-down part. Then you use these to get the absolute values. So I dumped the x and y into these, then checked if it was below 0, multiplied by -1 on each of those to give them the absolute values. Then I'm using the absolute values to figure out which one has the larger absolute value. Because the one that has the larger absolute value is which of those triangles I showed you at the very beginning it's going to be in. And if it's equal, if it's on the straight diagonal, the absolute value is always going to equal 0 if they're is going to equal each other. So like, for instance, if it's right here, it's going to be -1 plus 1, right? It's 1 to the left, which is -1, down 1, which is +1. So that distance, if it's both 1 and 1 as the two absolute values, if they're equal to each other, it's always going to be on the perfect diagonal, which is what this down here does. All right. So now I'm going to do this one and place it here. So this is if it's on, if the y is the larger. So if the y is the larger, we need to check if the y is done like that. And now we're doing the same thing. So if the y is less than 0, that means that the surveyor is below the dig point on the map, which means the surveyor needs to turn up. That, and that means the opposite direction is turned down. Okay. Oh, it's already 50 minutes in. This one's going to be, we're going to go over an hour today. I'm sure that everyone's happy except my voice, because I have been talking too much. All right, so now everything from here to here, I did not mean to type. Okay. From here to here needs to be copied, pasted, and we need to do all this again, except we're doing it with surveyor 2. So x2. And the cool thing is because I don't need the math variables and AVs for the last one anymore, all this stuff is the same. I don't have to actually touch it. All I have to do is go edit, or nope. Edit surveyor 1 is at, change that to surveyor 2. Don't forget to hydrate. That's probably a good idea. I probably should. Hold on. I am trying to wave down a drink. Oh, never mind. The person who is normally in the office with me is not here. So I'm going to go grab a drink, actually. Be right back in 10 seconds. All right. So, a drink. I have a hibiscus seltzer. Not the best, but it's pretty good. All right, now let me finish making this surveyor 2. So surveyor 2, surveyor 2. All right, and this one, let me check something, because this is all the right ones. So surveyor 2 was green, I think. Let me make sure I'm right. Yeah, it is left. So it needs to be turned upwards instead of turned left. And this needs to be surveyor 2. Right? Well, that's for the second one. Do one more paste for the third one. And then we go into the loop of when you actually try to dig. I'm actually going to do some stuff for testing, too. Okay. So starting here, we need to change everything that says 2 into 3. Surveyor Y3. Then I need to go through all of this and make sure I've not done really, really, really stupid things. Which is entirely possible, because when you're trying to do it this fast, and honestly, you probably are always trying to do things really fast when you're making stuff like this where it's very repetitive, it's very easy to hit the wrong thing. This one was blue, so this one needs to be turned down. Okay. So now I'm going to do again the turn on self switch for testing, so it stops. Control self switch, or not control self switch, just self switch A on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new event page, and then when variable surveys placed equals 3, this one is going to, I'm just going to get like something. This is just an indicator, so I know where it's placing the... Okay, let me just... I just need something. Let me do like tile set B maybe. See if I got something I can place. This is just a testing thing, so it doesn't really matter what it is, but for some reason, there we go. That makes it look like a little dig spot. All right. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to place this We're going to need this in here at the very end here. This is just a testing thing. This is not about anything else. We're going to just set event location. It was this event and designate with variable. We're going to do dig location X and dig location Y. This is so I know that they're facing the right direction at the end of this, right? Okay. So that should set it in the right place. Is there anything else I need to do? I want to make sure this is still below characters. Okay. Also, I want to... where is it? Show player followers. I don't like having them on there while I'm testing, so... Let's do some play testing. Okay, now I should be able to place one here, place one here, and let's place one here. All right, so this one is indeed facing the right direction. This one is, and this one is. It looks to me like it's working. So they're all facing towards where the dig spot should be. I know there's a reset command, and I can't remember what it is. All right. This one is not facing the right direction. Why is it not? Or is it? Is that the back of it? It is the back of it, right? The front and back of this thing does not... No, I think that's the... I need to look at the sprite, huh? That should be... Oh, that's fallen down. It's directly on a diagonal. Is it fallen down, though? It's hard to spot that it's fallen down. Let me look at the... I just want to look at the sprite. So damage... Where is sci-fi damage? Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like it's just using that one right there, and it's kind of hard to tell on that one that it's fallen. Okay. Either way, you know what? It worked. It worked. It worked. They are all facing the right directions and creating a place for you to figure out to dig, right? So, place one here. I think my wait's a little too long on that. All right, so he's facing the left, he's facing up, he's facing left. Very cool, very cool. All right, so let's get rid of this and get rid of that and that. All right. Okay. Now I need to have the loop of digging, right? So we're going to do loop. Let me lower this right here. I think I was having the trouble of, like, if I pressed it really fast, I was actually managing to get down and then up during the wait. Okay. So the next thing we need to do the same first thing is just to wait for a button press. Okay is being pressed. You know what? I don't really care about having the options. I'm just going to have it dig. So here's the thing. So I was like, what I need to do is now determine if my person is adjacent or on top of the place that you were supposed to dig. So there's different ways to do this. Actually, you know what we're gonna do? I'm going to open a spreadsheet because it's easier to explain this with a spreadsheet. So let's say the dig location is here. What I need to do be like, okay. Now let's say, so you have two different locations. You have these locations, and then you have, I don't like that color. There we go. And then you have a J. So if the dig location's here, you want to be able to get the dig on any of those locations. So one of the things you can do is determine, the same way I was doing before, the absolute values of where you are compared to where it is. So, for instance, if you're like right here, and the absolute value of your location is going of the two x's and the y. So your x is, or your y is equal. It's 0 difference. You're not up or down from it. And your x is one absolute value of 1 off. So if you're in this spot, in any of these 4 spots, and your absolute value distance from it is 1 or less, then you should get it. The problem is these are, if you add the two absolute values together, is 2. You're 2 away. So what you need to do is get the absolute values the same way we did before. So instead, we're going to be, all right, we need to go control variables. We're going to set the variable of player X, which I made forever ago. Or we're setting player X. So player X to the party, or the with a character player X. And then copy, paste. Nope. It was edit. I need to edit, not create a new one. So then we're going to player Y. And this is going to be the map Y of the player. All right. Now, we need to determine the distance from this. So we can subtract the dig locations from this. Technically, we're just doing this on the math ones. Actually, you know what? That's what we're going to do. We don't even need that. We just need this section right here. But we're going to do it a little bit different. So, same thing. We don't actually need, so we're going to subtract instead game data, character, map X, edit, game data, character, map Y. All right. Next thing we do is, we have the absolute values of this. All we have to do is have a new conditional branch. If variable avx is equal to variable avy, create else branch. So if it's equal, we need to know if it's 2 or less. So First, when it's equal, we're going to go... Oh man, my brain's having a day. Still having a day. Okay, we're going to take AVX, and then we're going to add AVY. We're basically just shoving all the information to AVX because it doesn't really matter that much. All right. And then we're doing it again in this one. And then the next thing we do is conditional branch. If the... so this is if it's equal. So that means we need to know if it's 2 or less. If AVX is equal to or less than 2. And in this other one, we need to know if it's equal to or less than 1. Because this is like we were talking about. This, with when it's equal to AVX is equal to AVY, then you're on a straight diagonal. And one space away on diagonal would be 1 and 2. Whereas this would just be 1 away. And so we need... Did I not do else's on this? So it needs an else on these. Else branch. And then we just need to go... We need messages. Dug something up. And put that one also if it's 1 or less here. And then you need another message that is just nothing here. Okay. Then after both of these, after all 4 of these, we need break loop. So break loop. All right, now I need to be able to reset everything and go back to the beginning. So that means control variables, set to 0, basically everything. Where's the range? Range. So, well, let's see, it's 1 through 15. 1 through 15. And then it will loop back to the very beginning. All right. Let us see if this now works. Or if I have destroyed everything. Okay, so I'm going to place 3. Place our third one. All right. So, oh, this one fell down. That's good information. So it's got to be... It's like either here, here, here. It's in this area somewhere. Diagonal. It has to be like right here. Yep. And then it resets. And I can do it again. Oh, I need to reset the directions of these things too, I guess. Reset the way they're facing. Alright, so this one's facing down. This one's facing down, so that doesn't give me any much information. All we know is it's somewhere in this area. I need to be able to miss once, so I need to make sure it still works if I miss completely. Alright. They're all facing to the left, which means this has to be... Yep. Guys, it works! That was really cool. I'm super excited that that worked. I'd probably need to do some more work on it because I think it's a little too hard, because if they're... Like, for instance, that last one, they were all just facing right. And it could be anything in, like... I don't know, actually, now that I think about it, if they were all facing right, it had to be in, like, one little area on the edge. I don't know. I'd have to test it and see how it worked. But I think that that was actually kind of cool. I like that. I hope y'all had fun. Again, go to that tweet, retweet it for me. Hopefully you guys get the bundle. I hope you finish your IGMC games if you're working on them. If you're not, why are you not working? And everyone just have a good night. That's it for me. Just have a good night, and I will not see you the next 2 weeks. The last week of the month is generally the week I take off, and then that next Thursday is going to be the day IGMC ends, and I am going to be swamped trying to get everything to all the judges and everything. But I will be back the week right after that. So the next time we're streaming is going to be the 11th. And I look forward to seeing you all there.